the direction. Yeah, so okay. Welcome to the Center for Academic Achievement. Kamal, go ahead and Komal, take it away for us today, and let's hear what you have to say.
Well, thank you very much for the warm welcome, Alexis. So yes, we are the Center for Academic Achievement. I'm here today with my team, Rebecca Kanaskie, our Writing Support Coordinator, and our Academic Success Coach, David Gordon. And the three of us will more properly introduce ourselves in a little bit. So I will call us the CAA for short from now on. And so that's what that means in case you didn't know. So as Alexis mentioned, my name is Komal Rizvi, and today we're just going to be talking about how the CAA can support faculty and students, and then take any questions you might have for us at the end. And there is a ton of information, so don't worry, we got you. I have summarized everything into some handouts for you. I'll also be sharing some links and just some follow-up steps to take advantage of the services we'll be discussing. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know at the end, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to reach out at any of the email addresses we'll be providing. So you might see that the PowerPoint presentation has CRLA on it. So CRLA stands for College Reading and Learning Association, and we are accredited by them, and it is my job to maintain the accreditation. And we'll talk a little bit more about why that's important when it comes to tutoring. All right, so moving on. Again, just before we talk about introductions, just in case anyone didn't know what the CAA offered, we have one-on-one tutoring for a number of classes that I will go over in a little bit. And it's both in person and online. And either those classes are tutored by professional tutors who are experts in their fields, or they're peer tutors, but they were working on CRLA level 1 certification for them. So meaning they've taken the class, they've gotten an A, we've gotten a faculty recommendation, and we're training them and observing them. All right, so I just wanted to share, when it comes to graduate students, we only offer writing tutoring at this time. And then in addition to the in-person and online tutoring for writing, we have a third option. It's called e-tutoring. And so what that entails is the student actually doesn't have to be present at the appointment, neither does a tutor. They upload their paper along with a rubric and any information that might be helpful, maybe what they want help with. And the tutor will just take a look at it, mark it up, and they'll upload it back to the appointment by the end of that business day. So that's pretty nice for students that may not have time or just can't show up during those more business-like hours. And then we have academic coaching as well, which we will talk about more in a little bit. And then we also have online resources that are available on demand on my Carlow. We have them for writing, math, study skills. And so we're going to be talking about those last 3 bullet points in more detail very shortly. So who am I and why should you listen to me? So again, I am the director of the Center for Academic Achievement. I have my email address here if you want to reach out to me. These are just some of the things I do. So I maintain our CRLA accreditation. It's my job to hire, supervise, and train the peer tutors. I also manage the professional tutors. I take care of all of our scheduling needs for coaching and tutoring online. And I also design all of our tutorings to make sure they are aligning with CRLA. And I help develop new initiatives for academic support. I also collaborate with faculty and other campus stakeholders to support existing student initiatives. And of course, I promote our services. All right, with that, I will pass it on to Dave Gordon.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Gordon, for the people that don't know me. I'm an academic success coach. Is one of the hats that I wear Also, I'm certified with the National Tutoring Association for Academic Coaching and Appreciative Advising. Also serve here at Carlow as the Athletic Compliance and Athletic Progress Coordinator. So I work with all the students on, kind of academic success, and we'll kind of talk about exactly what that means as an academic coach. Actually, can I go into it now, Komal, or you want me to wait till
Please.
slide 8?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to start on like what is an academic coach and what do we do? What an academic coach is actually, maybe I should play volunteer victim. Do you guys have any idea what an academic coach do, or the difference between an academic coach, a counselor, and an advisor? Show of hands. Raise your hand. You can speak
David,
up.
can I just tell you, this has been a real major thing for me. I'm trying to decipher it, and I am so glad you guys are here to help me figure it out because I honestly don't know.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry, Alexis. I got you. I told my team if I have to be here, so do they.
Well, basically, what an academic coach is, we help students identify any roadblocks that they have towards academic success and give them the resources to overcome those roadblocks. Whereas, when you talk about an academic advisor, they kind of work with crafting schedules and things like that. Counselors kind of work on focusing on kind of the mental side of things and helping students. Even though I may touch on that and refer that to students, refer that out. But I've really academic coaches focus on just basically the process of learning, the process of being successful and getting results out of our students. And we do that through, like I said, one-on-one meetings. We do that through, teaching them time management. We do that through, prioritizing their day. We do that through, just linking with self-advocacy, linking their values with their missions and their academic goals. Also motivational interviewing, also just helping them utilize a growth mindset, problem solving, and goal setting. Kind of rambled off a lot quick. Anybody got?
No, you're good, Dave. All right. Anything else you want to add before we introduce that? All right, cool. We'll give you another opportunity to talk. Don't worry, Dave.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Rebecca Kanaskie. I'm the CAA's Writing Support Coordinator. So in a nutshell, right, I'm your like writing-based contact here at the university. Any questions you have about writing, whether they're, when you're teaching a class or how to help a student, I'm your main point of contact. So my main priority with students is to provide both synchronous and asynchronous writing support. So what that means is just that one-on-one tutoring. I'm sitting down with students in person, online, or through the e-tutoring option that Komal mentioned as well. And I help both undergraduate and graduate students pretty much with any writing-related project. It doesn't have to be for a class. It could be something that they're working on themselves. I'm seeing a lot of those grad school statements right now, so that's a really fun project for me. So I also develop and present those in-class and standalone workshops on writing topics. I will talk a little bit more about workshops later, but again, I'm that main point of contact. If you're wanting an APA workshop in your class, please contact me. My email's right there. But also, if you've ever seen, my lovely CAA schedules for the semester up and about on my flyers, right? That is my list of the workshops that I provide to all students every semester, usually on things like APA, grammar, some other odds and ends here and there too. And with that, of course, I create and maintain the CAA's workshops and PowerPoints. I'm going to be able to show you a couple of those today. There's a lot of them, so you will be able to explore on your own, but I will show you some today. I also collaborate with faculty and staff on their writing projects. So this would be if you are, let's say, having a rubric for a class and you want some input on it, I can also offer that to faculty and staff. I also teach as an English adjunct here, and I have experience doing that as well, creating curriculum. So whatever you want with writing, I'm your gal. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. But yeah, I'm teaching SKW 102 this semester, usually 101 in the fall. So very familiar with those students as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Dave and Beck. And again, they'll have an opportunity to talk again soon. All right. So I was mentioning the undergraduate courses we offer tutoring for earlier. There's a whole lot of classes. There's like close to 40. So I wanted to just summarize them up a little bit in a way that was like easy to look at. So of course we offer help with all of the Compass courses. Quantitative reasoning can be really hard. And then SKW 101 and 102 that Beck just mentioned, and then the communications class. Math, we offer support for a few of those classes. Nursing, there's a lot offered. And we have several of the psychology courses on here as well. And then with the sciences, physics, bio, and chemistry, we offer help with some of the classes under those majors. So there is some more, but I, again, just wanted to show it in a way where we could kind of view it all together. All right, so on to the next slide. Beck, you're back at bat.
Yeah, so I'll talk a bit about the writing support that the CAA provides. I always like to start this off by saying what we don't do before saying what we actually do, right? So I think a misconception a lot of times with any sort of academic center, especially when it comes to writing, is that we are an editing center, right? Or that the writing tutors will always edit your paper and go through it. Not necessarily true, right? So a lot of the strategies that I do in my sessions, and I also do the writing training for writing tutors as well. So they are aware of, up-to-date practices and things like that. So we try to make really good suggestions to students. We read over those papers. We ask them a lot of questions, and we provide them with resources as well. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to go in and correct this student's grammar, right? A lot of students are really worried about grammar or citation styles, that sort of thing. Instead of just going through and saying, this is wrong, or this is right, instead we identify those patterns of errors and then explain to the student how they might fix that in the session. So one of the things that I always say as a writing tutor, right? I'm a professional, writing tutor myself. So whether I'm tutoring or whatever I'm doing with the center, is that we don't make better papers necessarily, we make better writers. So oftentimes that misconception can be that a student goes to the CAA and their paper isn't radically, magically better, right? Because we're not working with that paper on that level necessarily to make every correction or make it perfect, right? We are instead making sure that they're learning new habits, that they're learning how to be better in certain things, that they're understanding the assignment more. So we're playing the long game with them, right? We're not doing the necessarily here and now little things. We're hoping to make them better in the future. So with that, right, we do help at any stage of the paper writing process. The writing process itself is varied, right? It's very different from person to person. So I work with students who come in with absolutely nothing, to students who have a very finalized paper. They just want to read it out loud again. I work with a lot of students, especially with executive functioning issues. Learning how to understand your own writing is much more than just the words on the page. So really what I focus on with students is like, let's see where you are right now. Let's help you get past whatever roadblocks are coming your way. I guess that's where me and Dave overlap a little bit. We're just helping across those roadblocks. So some other things to talk about is, of course, we do citation styles, helping students to understand, the big thing every semester is, what is APA? Are you doing it right? How do you do it? The big thing that I get them to focus on too is like where to find those answers themselves after the session. We're focusing on a lot of like self-efficacy problems and solutions really as well. So we don't do the work for you. We help you to be a better writer so that you can do the work yourself.
Ready, Dave?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm always ready. So what we do as an academic coach is I'll kind of start off kind of the same thing of what I don't do. What we don't do is kind of just tell them tell students exactly what they should be doing or how to do it. What we kind of do is we kind of work through guided discovery. So we figure out on a student's meeting, like exactly what is their learning preference? Where do they want to start learning? All right. Then we help them develop a plan for learning. So with the plan for learning, we're talking about maybe time management. Why are you being unsuccessful? Why are you unsuccessful? Are you academically spontaneous? So we try to find out exactly what the student needs. So we might work with students on developing a schedule, a life schedule for balance. We might work with students to develop, a syllabus schedule, just so they can understand and put in one-stop shopping or one-stop directory, all their class information, test information, professor's preferred method of contact. We try to streamline and make the process as easy as possible for students to be successful. Also, we might also help students figure out exactly which way they need to learn in that class, depending on the lecture method of that professor. Like, say, for example, we may have a professor that teaches out of a book a lot more. We may have a professor that, wow, nobody ever calls on his office phone. I'm sorry, excuse me. No one ever calls on his office phone, I swear. So we might have a student a professor that teaches off of PowerPoint. So we might have to teach a student how to study off of PowerPoint. What is the information that they're trying to get? What is the objectives that the teachers are trying to get to them, or the professors are trying to get to them? We also, may refer students out to different departments around the campus. I work with students to tell them what exactly is a bursar hold and what do you got to do to get it off. How do you contact your professors and how do you word it to say it the right way? What do you need to do with them? How can you make up this incomplete? What are some of the questions you need to, talk to your advisor about, and how can we formulate that so you can best maximize your time and the advisor's time when you get a chance to meet with them? So that's just a couple of things in a few, but it's all customized based on the student. But in a nutshell, we're just helping students become better students and based on what they need, said to overcome them roadblocks.
Thanks so much, Dave. You're awesome. We appreciate all you do for our students.
All right.
Turn it back over to Beck.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about pretty much part of why we're here today, right? To learn about what this thing we've kind of termed as like a faculty toolkit, right? Really just faculty resources. And they are on my Carlow. So I'm going to click on this link. I'm assuming you guys can't see that. So I'm going to share it instead.
Let me hit stop sharing and see if you're able then, okay?
Okay.
Okay, try now.
All right. All right. Can we see that? Yeah. All right, perfect.
Yep, we can see it.
All right. So I'm actually going to go up here, go up to the dashboard of my Carlow. So this is where our resources are housed, pretty much, for the most part, on my Carlow. So when you go to our little dashboard here, we have everything, looks great. You want to scroll down on the left side here, down to the groups, and then click on that Center for Academic Achievement. So for me, it automatically opens to the resource tab. I think that's just because that's where I spend most of my time. So it may open to the discussions tab for you. I do not know. So if we want to open that first, right? Discussion would be where I pretty much just talk all the time, and I promote our services is really what I do there. So the discussion will be where you can find links to, let's say, workshops that I'm doing or flyers, things like that. Our info here doesn't really have too much, just our contact information, just the necessities right there. Events, if we have linked a scheduled event, will be in there. So you can see, I'm trying to use it a bit more just to see how students respond to it. So you can always check that. We're going to look at the resources. So some things that I, along with the rest of the CAA staff, maintain this page pretty regularly. I like to call this a little bit of our living document because it is in like constant change, right? And that's a good thing. We're constantly uploading new things, editing old PowerPoints or worksheets, stuff like that. So we have pinned up here the sort of explanation for how to schedule an appointment. I think that actually might be the link to WC Online. And we have another pinned resource here of how to use the CAA. But I'm just going to show you a couple of things here. So really, if I have anyone in the audience who's a Doctor Who fan or knows anything about Doctor Who, our My Carlow page is kind of like the TARDIS, right? It's bigger on the inside. So we have all of these folders here that open up into other folders and other documents as well. So if I click on that APA, AMA, or MLA documentation folder, I then open up several other folders. So APA is always of real big importance to this university. A lot of students are nursing, right, doing those APA formats. So if I click on this tab, this folder, I have some other pinned resources that I think will be really helpful for faculty. So obviously, I can go into a classroom and give a workshop on APA format. But if you are more looking for resources or a PowerPoint on how to do that yourself, this would be where you would go. So I have one pinned here about APA 7th Citation Basics. That's our newest format for it. And it is a 30-slide presentation that is fully ready for you to go. So it goes over everything. What is APA? How to format Word, citation basics. I even have a little fun Kahoot quiz there. Get students really excited. And then a summary, right? So just to give you a sense of what some of these PowerPoints look like, this is kind of your basics. Go over an overview of what's going on. How do we format it? I have examples in here as well. I'm not going to show you, obviously, every PowerPoint that we do, but just giving you a sense of it's just kind of set up for you. So if you want to use this in your class, you're free to do that. These are available to you at all times. They're also available to students at all times. So if you're looking for some sort of resource like that, it's very helpful. I'm going to show you just a couple more things. So one of the worksheets that I worked on this year, and that is, I always want to say, like, it's the one that sells out the most in the CAA. They're not for sale, right? But students do use them. Is something like this APA quick reference guide. So if you are wanting to give students that concrete thing, right, that piece of paper in your classes, you are free to print these out at any time. We also have them physically in the center. Obviously, the PDF version is on here. I like to give this to students because then I know they have a physical copy of things. I give these out during sessions. So just to give you a sense as well, it goes over pretty much the same information, just a little bit abridged. So if we're looking at parenthetical citations, has an explanation and has some examples there as well. All these fun quotations, example reference page 2. So that's an example of something like the APA documentation. If I go back to the beginning, some other ones that have been of interest to faculty before would be something like that is here in this study and note-taking tips. I do a reading and note-taking PowerPoint workshop that I've given to classes as well. So another example of how I might go into a class. You could also definitely use this for one of your classes if you're trying to get them to understand more about reading, myths, how to read like a writer sort of thing. What is annotating, right? Those sorts of things. Let me show you just a couple more. So let's go through this, right? We have some research and writing skills. Under this section, you'll find things like editing and grammar, literature review, and annotated bibliographies. I know for myself right now in SKW 102, we are doing annotated bibliographies with the student. So pretty much the resources that I use in my class are also the ones that I'll upload to here. So again, set up for you to just go in there, look at things, can take from a PowerPoint, get inspired by it, or use it in your class. A bunch of other things down below. I have some PDFs, like handouts for that sort of thing. Go back here. We have a couple of things for graduate students. College success, again, more like the coaching side there. We also have some resources for nursing. I know that our professional tutor for math, Steve, he's doing some stuff with mathematics. I open this and like my brain kind of goes like, yeah, cool. I'm sure that somebody would love to see that. I'm just a writing person. So if you are someone who's in math faculty, that sort of thing, we do have resources for that as well. I just tend to talk a bit more about the writing because it is what I do. We are working on those ELL resources. That's on my list for the summer. So that's something we're hoping to expand more into the future. But we also have all these other things down here, time management, executive functioning, right? This whole resources tab is what we're just calling, your faculty resources. You are free to use this. I'm giving you permission, free to use it at any time. I think we do just ask that, of course, if you're taking some of our materials, you're crediting us for that, right? A lot of these PowerPoints will have the CAA on it. They all, at the very end, have a page that has all the CAA information. And our handouts also have our information at the bottom of them as well. I think I'll pause there for a second and see if anybody has any questions. Not able to see the chat, but if you want to speak and ask something right now about this page, go for it.
Yeah, we were just in the chat talking that, oh my goodness, we need to be working with you all so much more because our work so complements each other, and having this, I can't wait to use some of these in my own NU 795 class. I'm going to be pulling them out and using them. So this is so incredibly helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I will say too that I often make new resources based on student need that I'm seeing. So I'm sort of tapped in on the student end because that's where most of my focus is. That's honestly where most of my interaction is. So if you as faculty or staff are seeing things that maybe a need for a PowerPoint on this or a worksheet on this, right? Just please let me know. Goes on my long list of things that I absolutely want to do and have for those students. That's why I said living document too. So not just keeping it to this, we're hoping to go even bigger, serving the students the best that we can. So yeah, any other questions or anything? I'm up again, great.
Yes.
So talk about workshops. I've already talked a little bit, right? But if you would like to request a workshop for your class or for a department, please reach out to me. I've given several workshops and overviews, not just on one thing, right? So for this semester, for example, I've done that APA workshop for certain like psychology class. I had a professor reach out to me and ask if I could come in, talk a little bit about APA and plagiarism. That's just one example of what I could do there. I've also talked to entire departments about an overview of what the CAA does. I think any of us who works in the CAA would be more than welcome to do that for you. So like I said in the past, done workshops on APA, note-taking strategies as well. Those workshops can absolutely be tailored to class content if you would like it to be. So if you're wanting me to come in and talk about, let's even just say, a literature review, right? But you're doing it in a specific way for a specific type of class or discipline, all you have to do is let me know. I do a little research on my end and make sure that like what I'm presenting on aligns with what you're giving your class. Requires just a little bit of collaboration, but really not that much. Happy to do it as always. And like I said, PowerPoints and handouts in that CAA resources page are available for faculty to use at any given time. And really just reach out to me if there's something that you would like to see. If you're unsure about anything, I know there was a lot of tabs there. So if you're unsure if we have a resource that you're not wanting to make a duplicate of, if you're just not sure, send me an email. I can always look through it and go, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's what I have to say about workshops, if anyone has any questions about that.
All right, thank you so much, Beck. That was always great. That's always just great to see. I never get tired of seeing our resources. So I just wanted to talk about how important the CAA values faculty and the partnerships that we form. So I just wanted to show you some quick data because we're data nerds here, right? So 53% of the appointments that we had last year were recommended by faculty. And 15% were actually required by faculty. They're usually, we see that a lot for writing for papers, that they're required to take their papers to the CAA to be proofread. That is, again, Beck talked about how we're not doing proofreading, but that's usually the objective. So, and then we've noticed that half of kind of related to that half of our appointments tend to be for writing tutoring. All right. So we're just going to talk about how to schedule an appointment. And it's actually the same exact process, whether you want a tutoring appointment or you want an academic coaching appointment. So everything right now is on WC Online. So up top there, you see that link, or you can scan that QR code, and then you would select if you wanted tutoring or coaching. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how this would look in the next slide on your end when you're doing so. And then you would select the course that you're looking for. If it's tutoring, pick the day and a time that works best for you. And then some options would come up with a tutor that would work best for you. And then confirmation and reminders are important. So students get an email once they've scheduled an appointment, and also a day before they get a reminder that they have an appointment, which is nice. Great. So this is sort of, those are the same steps again, but this is how your screen would look. And this is once you're logged in. So students do have to make an account the very first time they use it. We just tell them to make it the same as their Carlow account. So it's just easy to log in. Eventually we will be getting SSO. So students will be able to not need to log in if they're already logged into Isadora. But for right now, they must register first. So again, the same steps. They can look at all those subjects where that cool arrow is, and they pick it, they see what's available, and they schedule their appointment by clicking on a white box. So when you see a white box, that means that that tutor is available at that day and that time. Wherever you see all of the bluish black, those times are not available. And wherever you see the beautiful blue, pink, and green colors, those appointments have already been taken. Great. So we're getting close to the end. So this is how you can connect with us. This is where we're located, on the 4th floor of the University Commons. We share a suite with the DSO and SLP. Sometimes people can't find us just because they're not sure where we're located. We're kind of behind everything in the suite. But yeah, come see us. And I have our phone number and our general email address there. Again, that link to schedule appointments, and our Instagram page if you want to follow us. So I want to thank you for listening and staying with us this long. And again, we'll be dropping all of those resources in the chat. And when this is uploaded to our website, I'm going to try to see if we're able to include the handouts there as well, and all the links and everything that we talked about. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the audience and see if they have any questions about anything we talked about, or maybe anything that we didn't mention.
This is so great. So many great ideas are going through my head. Becca, I've got like a ton of emails that I sent to you while the conversations were going on, because I wanted to make sure that I had tracked all my thoughts. So if you get weird stuff and you're like, what was she I was multitasking.
Okay, no, I understand.
Yeah, there's just so many great things. And I'm wondering, we do have, David, I don't know if this is possible, but I'm going to just ask it. If it's possible to add the CAA link in the nav bar in Brightspace.
It is possible, but there's a limit to how many things can be there. So I need to see whether there's an opening or whether we'd have to bump something out to do it.
Okay. That might be something we want to explore as an option so that we can raise the profile of the help and support. So we'll wait until further notice with David to see if that is a possibility. Yeah, because I'm just thinking that there could be some other ways that we could embed some help and support for the students.
Yay! Yeah, we always love to see our stuff being used and promoted some more. So that sounds great.
Yeah, and I think that hopefully we'll be able to think of ways that we could be working together. I know that Rich and Luke Carter, who's part of our Center for Teaching, Research, and Learning, they've been building out on some ideas with information and communication technology literacy. And I think that it's a perfect combination for the work that you're doing. I know I've been advocating. I use Zotero in my classes, and I teach using that tool in part because the tool that we did have wasn't getting used. So I had to drop some things when budgets got cut last year, and that the citation manager was one of the things that we dropped, but because I could get Zotero for free. So it's just like how to use these things, how to find information, but there's so many synergies here and so many great opportunities to work together and building out that curriculum. So I'd love to explore those and keep the conversation going.
Awesome. I am just writing back to Allie in the chat. She asked permission to upload, and she can feel free to upload everything.
Great, awesome. And we'll get that out fairly soon. Wow.
Well, does anyone have any questions? Any ideas that they want to share? Any inspiration?
I'm just looking forward to continuing the conversation.
Yeah,
I think it'll be good. Yeah.
It will be. All right. So we can give it another minute or two, but if anyone doesn't have any questions for us, we can give everyone some time back into their day.
And thank you all so much for being here today. This was so great, so helpful.
Oh, well, we're glad it was helpful and we're happy to do it. So
yeah,
we're here.
Thank you guys. Yeah, it's always fun to have like a little space to talk about what you do, because oftentimes we're just talking to students most of the time, right? And each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we can talk about how we can help students together. Yeah, and Beck and Dave are really awesome. I couldn't do everything I do without both of them. They are amazing.
That's awesome.
They're always directly working with the students. They're telling me what's going on, and it helps me make changes, and they do so much. So I'm so glad that they were both able to make it here with me today.
So cool. Well, I am too, and looking forward to continuing talking to you in the future. And yeah, so thank you everybody for being here today.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have a great day.
You too, Dave. Bye-bye.